There's something buried beneath the surface of Ash, and it doesn't just infect bodies, it invades identities. It learns how to be you. And once it has you, you're no longer fighting to survive. You're fighting to stay you. Ash 2025 is a chilling dive into isolation, memory loss, and a parasitic force that doesn't kill on impact. It colonizes from the inside out. In this breakdown, we're focusing on the parasite's terrifying biology, its hive-mind intelligence, and what the ending really means for Earth. If you like science fiction that feels disturbingly possible, this one deserves your attention. But first, let's set the stage. Early in the film, we're introduced to a theory. Maybe space isn't quiet because it's empty. Maybe it's quiet because everyone out there is hiding. Just like on Earth, the most dangerous species in any ecosystem are the loudest, until they're hunted into silence. Humanity, never known for subtlety, sends 17 astronauts to colonize a new world, Ash, a strange, eerily Earth-like planet. Its atmosphere is almost breathable. Its terrain, alien yet familiar. At first glance, it looks like a fresh start for civilization. But it's not a blank canvas. It's a trap. We meet Riya waking up in chaos. Bloodied, dazed, and alone, she finds herself surrounded by death and decay aboard the terraforming station. The crew is gone. The halls are smeared with blood. And she has no memory of what happened. The alarms are blaring. The power is failing. Something in the shadows is moving. But the most terrifying thing isn't what's outside. It's what might already be inside her. Her symptoms start subtly. Headaches, fever, confusion. But they escalate fast. Hallucinations, emotional breakdowns, memory gaps. Her own mind becomes a battlefield, and the enemy knows her better than she knows herself. As Riya navigates the base, the fever spikes become more frequent. She coughs uncontrollably. She forgets basic facts. She sees people who aren't there. At one point, she nearly walks off a cliff, chasing a hallucination that perfectly mimics her body language. Something is clearly inside her nervous system, tapping into her vision, her hearing, even her thoughts. These aren't symptoms of trauma or PTSD. They're the side effects of a parasite learning how to fully replace her consciousness. From early interactions, the film hints at something beyond infection. This organism doesn't just inhabit the brain, it rewrites perception. It manipulates memory. It erases fear and implants suggestion. And it doesn't want to kill. It wants to recruit. As the story unfolds, we'll see that this entity is more than biological. It's part machine, part living network. A hive mind that can invade technology, override systems, and reshape biological life to suit its expansion. What makes Ash terrifying? Ash doesn't rely on gore to shock. It doesn't need endless alien jump scares. Its horror is quieter, more intelligent. It makes you question what's real, who's still human, and whether you still exist once the parasite has moved in. Let's talk about what makes the parasite in Ash 2025 more than just a scary movie monster. This isn't your standard xenomorph or mindless flesh eater. This thing operates with surgical precision. It doesn't just eliminate, it studies, copies, mimics, and merges. It turns its hosts into conduits, and it thrives by not being detected. By the time you realize something's wrong, your mind is no longer your own. Phase 1. Subtle infiltration. The first sign of invasion is a fever. On the surface, that seems normal, an immune response. But in Riya's case, the fever is paired with hallucinations, memory fragmentation, and bizarre visual distortions. At one point, she sees a figure outside the base mirroring her exact movements, an eerie mimic that vanishes as soon as she acknowledges it. The parasite doesn't immediately take over. It learns, it waits, and that's what makes it lethal. It begins by tapping into her brain's sensory centers. Most notably, the visual cortex, where it hijacks her ability to distinguish reality from illusion. The auditory centers, whispering voices she believes are real. The hippocampus, interrupting memory retrieval and rewriting her understanding of the past. These aren't random symptoms. They're the calling card of something that wants to be invisible until it's already won. Phase 2. Neurological possession. Later, when Riya's behavior grows erratic, we see signs of a deeper invasion. She begins to question her own actions. Did she harm her crew? Did she imagine it all? At one point, she recalls attacking them, but isn't sure if it was a dream, a flashback, or a planted memory. This confusion is the parasite's most powerful weapon. It splits identity. It inserts memories that didn't happen. It removes the ones that did. And when the host starts to fight back, it gives them just enough autonomy to feel like they're still in control until they're not. This is psychological warfare at a cellular level. Now, you might want to ask, can this happen in real life? Here's where it gets disturbing. In the real world, parasitic organisms exist that can alter behavior. One of the most studied is Toxoplasma gondii, a parasite that infects rats and makes them lose their fear of cats. So the cat can eat the rat, and the parasite can complete its life cycle inside the cat's intestines. In other words, it hijacks the rat's brain to send it to its death. The parasite in Ash operates with a similar model, except on a far more evolved scale. It alters brain chemistry, overrides emotional control, suppresses immune responses, creates sensory hallucinations, and ultimately drives the host toward specific actions that serve its larger goal. When Riya starts showing signs of fever, paranoia, memory loss, and psychosis, it's not coincidence. It's a designed sequence of neurological dominance. A key moment occurs when Riya experiences what appear to be gaps in her time. She interacts with Jesse, speaks with what she thinks are her crew members, and experiences emotional flashbacks. But the medical bot later confirms Jesse died 51 hours earlier. What does that mean? She wasn't talking to Jesse. She was interacting with a puppet, animated by the parasite. Or worse, the parasite reconstructed Jesse within her mind using her memories of him, projecting him as an avatar to manipulate her decisions. This is the real horror. When you no longer trust your own senses, how do you know what's real? The movie script explains the fever spikes might be the body's immune system recognizing that something foreign has invaded the brain, a likely onset of meningitis or inflammation of the brain's protective membranes. This inflammation can cause intense headaches, hallucinations, and disorientation. But there's another possibility. The fever might not be the body fighting the parasite. It might be a byproduct of the parasite settling in, heating the brain as it replicates. Either way, the fever isn't the illness. It's a signal that something has already burrowed deep inside. Unlike standalone creatures, the parasite in Ash is part of a hive intelligence. It doesn't need to understand humanity. It just needs one host, one vector, one ship back to Earth. Once it arrives, it can multiply, infect, assimilate. And here's the terrifying kicker. It lets its host live. You're conscious as it uses your body. You may even believe you're making your own choices until it's too late. Throughout the film, Riya is pulled between two realities. The logical explanation, she's suffering from trauma, memory loss, and exposure. The deeper fear, her mind is no longer her own. By the time she realizes the truth, she's already carrying the thing that destroyed her crew. The parasite is in her brain, and it's watching everything through her eyes. Up to this point, the parasite has hijacked one crew, one base, one mind. But it's not satisfied. Its goal isn't just survival, it's expansion. And Ash reveals a far darker intention than just infecting individuals. The parasite doesn't just control biology. It manipulates technology, uses it, and turns it against the hosts it infects. The parasite isn't just inside Riya's head. It's inside the base systems, the bots, and possibly even the orbital ships themselves. By the final act, it becomes terrifyingly clear. The parasite doesn't view humans as prey. It views them as transport. Riya, unknowingly infected, attempts to flee the planet. She believes she's escaping to warn others, or perhaps find redemption. But the parasite has different plans. It doesn't need to conquer Ash. It's already done that. It just needs to get back to Earth. And for that, it needs a vessel. It needs a pilot. It needs Riya. Through Riya's neural pathways, the parasite sees Earth, understands human infrastructure, our technology, our medical defenses, our social systems. And because it shares a hive mind across time and space, that knowledge is no longer limited to a single host. It's now part of a galactic organism. In one of the film's more genius moments, we discover the station's systems are also compromised. Computers glitch, auto locks fail, bots misfire. It seems random, until we understand that the parasite is interfacing with code, not just tissue. Let that sink in. The same intelligence that hijacked Riya's motor neurons also hijacked AI protocols and security systems. The medbot can't detect the parasite at first. Not because it isn't scanning properly, but because the parasite understands how to hide itself in the system. Logs are altered. Recordings are edited. Even timestamps are changed. like when Jesse is declared dead for 51 hours, despite speaking with Riya just hours earlier. This means the parasite can overwrite digital records, confuse human investigators, and erase the trail of infection. And then comes the twist. Jesse isn't Jesse. The emotional climax hits when Jesse, who had been guiding Riya, comforting her, even encouraging her escape, sits up after being confirmed dead for days. The skin is pale, the eyes are lifeless, the voice is familiar. But this isn't Jesse. This is the parasite, using his body like a puppet. And worse, it's been playing Riya the entire time. Her conversations, her decisions, her trust, they were all manipulated scenarios, orchestrated to make sure she didn't interfere with the plan. The parasite never needed her help. It just needed her to not resist. With the help of the medbot, Riya tries to remove the parasite directly from her brain, a moment that's equally horrifying and heroic. Without anesthesia, the medbot digs in, locates the organism, and pulls it out. You might think that's the end, but it's not. The parasite escapes, it slithers away. And what happens next proves something even worse. The parasite had already transferred itself into Jesse's dead body. Riya was never the final host. She was a distraction. Let's talk strategy, why this parasite wins. Unlike traditional monsters, this parasite plays the long game. It doesn't want panic. It doesn't want attention. It wants stealth domination. Here's the strategy it follows. Infiltrate a closed group, like a space crew. Use memory loss, hallucinations, and psychological manipulation to cause chaos. Possess a safe or trusted figure to gain influence. Jesse. Obscure data and technology logs to erase its trail. Ensure one infected host returns to Earth. Begin global assimilation quietly, one mind at a time. And the scariest part? It doesn't need to infect billions to win. It just needs enough. Talking about the ending part. Did humanity lose already? Riya makes it off the planet, or at least someone wearing her face does. In the final moments, we see her aboard the satellite. The tech seems stable. The ship is in orbit. But there's a problem. The hive-mind already controls the systems. There's no safety in orbit. No time left to sound the alarm. Earth is already in the parasite's sightline, and its knowledge of human behavior, systems, and communication is expanding by the second. Ash doesn't end with hope. It ends with the sound of something ancient, intelligent, and unstoppable slipping past humanity's defenses. Not by force, but by familiarity. It wore our faces. It used our voices. And now it's on its way home. Beyond the parasite's terrifying biology and Ash's visual intensity, there's a deeper current running through this film. Ash, 25, isn't just about an alien invasion. It's about what happens when we think we're too advanced to be prey. This story carries three major undercurrents: arrogance, isolation, and assimilation. Human arrogance. We thought we were alone, or worse, invincible. The mission to Ash is based on a familiar idea in sci-fi, humanity running from its dying planet, hoping to terraform a new one. But the crew treats Ash like it's empty. No rituals, no caution. They just drop in, analyze the air, and assume it's all theirs. This mindset mirrors the real-world history of colonization. New land equals new ownership. No questions asked. The parasite responds not with defense, but with strategy. It doesn't fight back. It studies them. It finds their weaknesses, emotional, physical, technical, and slips in through their blind spots. Ash is a reminder. If something is older than us, quieter than us, and still here, that silence isn't a sign of weakness. It's a trap. 2. Isolation and identity erosion. Riya's descent is slow and personal. She isn't chased by monsters down hallways. She's haunted by her own thoughts. Her hallucinations mimic familiar people. Her memories betray her. At some point, even she can't tell whether she's still herself. This is psychological horror at its core, where terror comes not from what's outside the door, but from what's quietly growing behind your own eyes. The parasite doesn't need to attack physically. It wears you down from within. The more isolated you feel, the easier it is to infect your sense of self. This is a rare kind of horror that doesn't just scare you, it destabilizes you. Assimilation without consent. The parasite never asks for permission. It doesn't negotiate. It assimilates. That's what makes it horrifying. It represents loss of will. It strips autonomy while letting you believe you still have it. It mimics human emotion. It replicates voices. It offers the illusion of peace, purpose, even unity. But it comes at the cost of your freedom. Riya rejects that offer, but it's too late. The damage is done. Now, here are the three standout theories people are buzzing about. 1. Jesse was never real after the first act. Many fans believe that the version of Jesse we see helping Riya after the chaos begins was a hallucination or parasite projection all along. Clues. The medbot confirms he died over 51 hours earlier. He appears randomly with no logical re-entry point. He constantly deflects questions and discourages investigation. This implies the parasite didn't just infect her. It built characters in her mind to guide her choices toward infection. That's not memory loss. That's scripted manipulation. 2. The parasite hijacked the terraforming technology. Some believe the planet Ash was never originally dangerous, until the hive-mind arrived and hacked the planet's own terraforming systems, originally built by another advanced species. Riya's discovery of ancient structures, floating rocks, and biomechanical designs suggests Ash had been partially claimed by another civilization, and the parasite overtook both them and their tech. This makes the parasite not just an invasive species, but a tech-stealing superintelligence that piggybacks on the work of others. Number 3. Riya never escaped the planet. This one's dark. Some fans suggest that Riya's escape at the end is a hallucination, part of the parasite's assimilation sequence. Supporting evidence. The robot never confirms her body is parasite-free. The ship's systems are glitching just like the base. She hears whispers and experiences distortions even in orbit. If that's true, Earth isn't just doomed because she brought the parasite back. It's doomed because no one knows she's already gone. So, what makes Ash so disturbing? Ash 2025 doesn't give you all the answers. That's the genius of it. The movie trusts its audience to piece together the timeline, question what's real, and consider how fragile the human mind is when faced with something designed to rewrite it. It's part sci-fi, part biohorror, and part existential threat. At its heart, Ash dares to ask, what if the most intelligent species in the galaxy doesn't speak, doesn't warn, doesn't threaten, because it never has to? Ash 2025 doesn't end with hope. It ends with a quiet invasion. Riya may have escaped the planet, but what she brought with her, or what brought itself, could already be rewriting everything we thought was human. The parasite doesn't need to wipe human out. It just needs to become indistinguishable from human. That's the real horror. Losing yourself while still being aware. Now it's your turn. Do you think Riya was still infected? Was Jesse ever real after the breach? And if the parasite made it to Earth, what happens next? Drop your thoughts and theories below. I'll be reading every one. If this breakdown hit hard, tap that subscribe button and share this with someone who loves sci-fi horror that sticks with you long after the credits roll. Thanks for watching. Stay human while you still can.